Hello, everybody. Welcome to my presentation about getting your process control network industry 4.0 ready. My name is Thomas Schwarzenbock. I'm product manager at Softing Industrial Automation, a company which concerns about industrial automation and the communications behind it, basically. All right. And in the course of the following 15-20 minutes, I will show you what Softing, have in mind when it comes down to Industry 4.0 and what we think is really important about the topic. Talking about Industry 4.0 readiness, first we might have to discuss what's Industry 4.0 actually. And a lot of people's minds diverge when it comes down to that. That's kind of a bloated word, something like Industry 4.0, predictive maintenance, stuff like that. Mostly, I guess it's about integrating IT and OT together. So that's what the company logo you see here also shows. But that's like a very generic and vast statement. Yeah. So in particular, to a single person or use case, it might be something very specific, like getting this or this data point and feeding it to the cloud, or telling when this or this sensor has to be exchanged or something like that, and all of that in a automated, not manual, but like automated, computer aided or computer guided fashion. So what does Industry 4.0 readiness mean then? Maybe it's about also a bloated word, something like that. Maybe some of you remember HD ready. Back when I was a kid, even more or less, flat screens came onto the market and everything was splattered with the HD ready tag, HD here and there. Now it's ultra HD in my mind, and I still don't really know what that means. And what does HD ready mean? Like, you knew you had to buy a TV that is HD ready, right? Because it's ready for what comes up in the future. But what is it even? And in my opinion, that's something like that. What's Industry 4.0 ready then even, right? But it's a very important, it's like, in my opinion, it's more important to know what Industry 4.0 ready is. It's important to be 4.0 ready, to make networks 4.0 ready, Industry 4.0 ready, it is obviously, rather than having like particular use cases in mind and say, okay, now predictive maintenance is super important, we got to do that. It's not about that, in my opinion. We will discuss that in a minute, though. First, I want to go into the details of what's industrial communication really. And most of you know, I guess, as you come from the fields listening here, but I want to give a brief explanation I give to my colleagues or fellow peers when I'm explaining what I'm doing for a living. So most of the time, industrial communication works as you see here in the picture. You got a control room on one side of the end, and you got some devices like a oil tank, or inside an oil tank, basically, for example, like valves or any kind of actuators, temperature sensors, whatever, and they are communicating back and forth. Like, the controller tells the devices what to do and gets information back off of them, right? So easy the picture is here on the slide. It's not so easy in real life, as real plants are vast structures with 10,000s, maybe 100,000s of devices, and the networks don't look like left to right, two devices, one controller like. They rather look like this, or they even more tend to look like this. And the problem here is that the structure I just shown you, this is like an oil rig in maybe Arabia in the desert, something like that. They have been built up in Industry 3.0 times. Industry 3.0 was concerned with getting stuff really automated with the help of electrical signals, right? And this has been developed in the 80s, maybe in the 70s and the 90s, something like that. We're talking about HART and Profibus. I guess you know these things, and they have been implemented and developed and implemented basically in the 80s and the 90s. Some of the stuff is 2000. But this is actually still being set up today in new plants because the technology is reliable, people know what they're dealing with. But the problem is that back in the days when this has been developed, none of this Industry 4.0 stuff was foreseen. People did not have in mind so much about it. And the problem now is that if you want to apply these use cases, you just simply have a problem. So imagine you have this little engineering guy and he wants to get stuff done with this typical Industry 4.0 stuff. I'm going to say this terms a lot of times now in the presentation, as you might notice. It's everywhere though. We're talking about process data into the cloud, health monitoring, predictive maintenance, stuff like that. But also like cybersecurity appliances become relevant these days with more and more cyber attacks going on industrial plants, on energy infrastructure, on that. We got to harden our facilities towards these things as well. And for me, as I said, for everyone has a different opinion about Industry 4.0, security is also a big chunk of it. Now, if you want to try to apply these use cases towards certain infrastructural elements, like production facilities might be one thing, city infrastructure, traffic infrastructure, or here we're talking about metallurgy and mining, obviously. If you want to apply these use cases to your specific application, what you will find is that you will have a very hard time because the stuff you are running is old. Okay, you did not build that yesterday. You did not build that with the specifications in mind you have today, but with the specification in mind that it has to run reliably, that it has to perform reliable output in a reliable quality. And that is the case, but there is more potential to it. So the problem really there is that you have in this industrial communication technology things, a lot of stuff going on that most of the people actually don't know much about, right? There are these protocols, Profibus, Profinet, HART, 420 milliamps. What is that even all? How does it all go to fit into each other? Remote IOs, controllers, devices, all of this stuff. And surely most people are not experts in these fields, though using the technology, as most of the people are concerned with the stuff they are actually producing and getting money from, and the communication behind it, the communicational backbone, though being the real, not maybe the heart, but the nervous system of the whole structure. It's just rather a tool that has to be there, but not concerned mostly. But that's really the heart, or that's really the thing where Industry 4.0 is going on, and where really all the potential is buried, and you got to attach to this system. And the problem is there you have really deep down technological specification, like different timings and protocol specific stuff that you need to know to address these issues. And the most important thing here is whatever you do, you cannot interrupt the ongoing process, obviously. So whatever I'm doing, I can never stop these forms from moving around a bit. Okay, I'm not allowed to do that. Rather, I'm not doing anything then. And we at Softing have a solution, obviously. That's why I'm giving you this presentation. We developed this product called SmartLink. In this particular form, something for Profibus, but we're doing it for a lot of protocols now. And the thing is that this product does, you can enter it in a now Profibus DP system, for example, and you're going to get data out of it via like very simple interfaces that application providers and also operators are able to understand and able to use, actually, rather than the super complicated OT layer Profibus specific stuff. And what that means is you're not bound to actually having a super specific application you need to decide for today, but you can rather do with the data whatever you want. You get all the data that is available in general, and now you can decide what to do with it. So basically that looks like as if you're old built in the 80s, 90s plant offers the capabilities of Industry 4.0 today, just with this little low risk, also cheap, in my opinion, upgrade. So everything looks Industry 4.0 ready. That's Industry 4.0 ready, in my opinion. And the guy here is also very happy now because he was able to apply whatever use case. And that's what it's all about. So we have this product, as mentioned, SmartLink HWDP here, hardware for Profibus DP. This is the ending. And basically, the SmartLink concept we run has this idea of being a generic tap for data for your industrial communication networks. All right. We're also doing that for Profibus. We're doing that for hard-capable controllers and remote IOs also. And we're running more and more products in that direction, offering like for topologies like these generic taps for data. Here, for example, we have the product that attaches to Profibus DP segments and is able to gather data out of these devices and also underlying hard devices that are connected to hard capable remote IOs. We got certain techniques to do that, obviously. And on the upper hand, it gets really interesting what's coming out of it being just very generic, openly available, defined, standardized, whatever comes to your mind here, interfaces, protocols like hard IP, that is hard communication over Ethernet physics. We got FTT DTM, most of the people know that. MQTT, cloud communication, OPC UA, the Industry 4.0 protocol today. All of the stuff and also technologies that might come in tomorrow. We implement it, we will implement, and we keep the product up to date so you never have to be concerned about anything when it comes to being ready for the years to come, I guess. So what it really is, that's Industry 4.0 ready. Now, I was kind of fast with the statement back there, but that's Industry 4.0 ready for us. You have this device that you enter inside your networks easily, easy to use, plug and play almost, cheap, low risk, because we do not interfere with running communications. And if we do, we know exactly what we're doing with the product as we're experts for the technologies. And what you get is you get all these use cases for your networks, parameterization, getting the process data, the IO data. You can do the asset management and asset monitoring, really get to know what kind of devices you have in there, inventorization and so on, diagnostics, predictive maintenance, stuff like that. And also security, cybersecurity, as I mentioned, very important thing here. These are the five main use cases where applications or the offering for applications are vast and still growing. And now the good thing is you don't have to decide what kind of application you're picking. If you go to another vendor who is offering equivalent stuff, I guess most of them always have to offer a hardware for it because you need hardware to access this not on Ethernet based communication. And then the problem is with the hardware, you're buying software and that's it. You tie these together and they run vice versa, exchange information with each other. They can never exchange information with another device, with other systems, and they can only give you the functionality they offered in the beginning. And that's it. And if you run something like diagnostics, if you decide for a health monitoring application and hardware, you're building that, you're satisfied with 1 or 2 years, and then now if you need to apply another use case, you would need to buy other hardware. You need to search for other vendors. Maybe it's incompatible, stuff like that. All of these issues are not relevant if you choose SmartLink because it makes, like, as mentioned a couple of times now, your network Industry 4.0 ready, giving you the opportunity to apply all these use cases for years to come, super reliable hardware, And also, if you're looking for a solution, if you now come to say and say, okay, what can I do with all the data? Like, I cannot read OPC UA by myself. Of course, we offer solutions here. We offer asset monitoring and diagnostic solutions, web applications, cloud-based, containerized, state-of-the-art technology that you can put on top of SmartLink in parallel to other applications, obviously. So we also got stuff there. If you're interested in any of this, just give us a call. Give me a call personally. I'll share my contacts with you in the end of the presentation, obviously. But that's what I wanted to really show you, just the idea about getting the data out and not having to decide for the actual application just yet. That's a very, very important concept to me. Just so my company is satisfied, I'm going to talk about it. We at Softing in general are concerned with horizontal and vertical data flow. We do a lot of stuff from protocol conversion, controller to device with different protocols and so on. So you can also use a Profinet controller and attach Profibus devices. We got gateways for that. A lot of other products as well, as you see on this slide map, I would call it. And Softing is really around the world, 400 employees kind of in total, with a lot of revenue, I guess like 80 million bucks we're doing at the moment. And really state-of-the-art pros when it comes down to industrial communication, really. So if you have any questions there, if you have any problems there, if you look for a solution there, just give us a shot, and I guess we're a very good partner for the means like that. This is already the end of the presentation. I hope it wasn't coming short of your expectations regarding the title. My name is Thomas Schwarzenbock. I'm product manager here at Softing, and I'm always keen on answering questions that may come in the future. Thank you very much for listening.